Toole. She's Stacey Mitchell, and we both work with the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Mainline, the #1 RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania since 2018. And we've got special guest DJ Sutera on with Mortgage America. DJ, thanks for coming on, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
We got a lot of mortgage talk today. A lot of mortgage talk. So this is the timing couldn't be better. So, again, and we are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Just look up Tom Toole Sales Group. And we're going to lead in with the biggest news, to me, that we're going to see in a long time, that mortgage rates have surged past 6% in wake of tomorrow's Fed meeting. It seems like the market's starting to adjust. There's rumors of potentially a 0.75 basis point hike coming out of the Fed meeting tomorrow. And this started happening late yesterday, where rates late yesterday at one point were what, like 5 3/8?
Yeah.
And they've since jumped up to, if you were to quote someone right now, they locked in, they got a house. What's the number?
6 flat, 6 1/8.
So 6 to 6 1/8. So we are talking almost a full point increase here, about 0.75 point. So knowing that rates have, and this is faster than anybody ever thought. I don't think anyone anticipated we'd be looking at 6 after talking about, even on last week's show, I don't think anyone anticipated this. So what does this mean for the market? And Stacey, I'd like to hear your perspective first from like the buyer and seller side, and then I want DJ to kind of tell us what he's talking to clients about right now, because this is a big deal.
It definitely is a big deal. What it means for the market. So for any folks that I've been working with for buyers at this time, if we haven't been able to get them under contract, I definitely want them to reevaluate their pre-approval and see if they're still in the price ranges that we've been searching, because this is definitely going to change their affordability. So we definitely want to brush up on that and make sure that they're still, where they need to be, and that we're not, looking at moving targets here when we're out trying to book showings. So for buyers, it's tough. It's tough all the way around because your rates are going higher. So your monthly mortgage payment is going to be higher, or you're going to afford less house for the same amount of money.
Right.
So there are some changes there, but people have to transact. There's people that have to buy for many different reasons. So that's why we're here to help them through this process. There are options, though, that people can explore. There's adjustable rate mortgages.
Bingo.
So that could really help folks. They can get into a 5-year or 10-year. The 10-year is available. So, just because the rates are going up doesn't mean you can't buy. And there are so many options. And think about it this way. So if you get into a house at 6%, right, and the rates continue to increase, then great. You locked in at a 6% rate once they go up to 7 or 8. But also know that if you are in an adjustable rate, if they do come down, there's an option to refinance. So you can refinance at a lesser rate in the future. So these are all things to keep in mind, not to get discouraged as buyers. Just to give you a little insight, when I bought my first home, I was at 11.99%. So
that was a good rate at the time.
It was a great rate at the time, actually. So buyers, don't be discouraged. For sellers, there's still sellers that are sitting on the sidelines waiting to jump in, to list their homes. And I say, don't wait. Prep the house. Talk to agents. Find out what it takes to get your home ready to put on the market, because there's buyers waiting out there to buy your house. So you can still definitely take advantage of this market, because your purchase prices, your asking prices are not decreasing. We have that supply and demand is still upside down. So the supply is still really low. So, the sellers are still enjoying all that appreciation value. And what is it? A third of the homes on the market, or a third of the homes don't have,
roughly 1/3 of homes do not have a mortgage on them right now.
That's enormous. So there are people that have been sitting on the sideline, and the sellers, I feel that they'll be coming off their sidelines and they'll be listing their homes. So there should be an uptick in inventory, if not through the summer, definitely in the fall.
I love that.
So
that's great to hear.
before we get to DJ's point, I think it's what Stacey said is super relevant because there was on CNBC yesterday, Danielle Hale, chief economist for Realtor.com, she was on there, and she was getting kind of grilled by the people hosting the shows. I don't know if you saw the clip, and it was like a 3-4 minute clip. She was on CNBC yesterday, and she came out and said, hey, guess what? Buyers are going to have more options in the fall than they do now, and that there are more options for homes than they've seen in years. And there's 2 reasons for that. One, because more sellers are going to start coming to the market. The sellers that waited, they missed their chance. This is clearly the market is going the other way. It's not going back. We've been saying this for like 6, 12 months at this point almost, that rates are going to go up, money's going to get more expensive, and the sales pace is slowing down. So to me, there's going to be some breathing room for buyers here, and because inventory is still very low, we're still less than a month's supply in suburban counties, less than 2 months in Philadelphia, in the city specifically, and I'm talking about, when I say suburban counties, Montgomery, Chester, Delaware, Bucks, we're seeing that there's going to be more sellers coming to the market. Buyers are going to have more options. For some buyers, I think they're going to be okay with paying a little more and not having to make a decision in 15 minutes if they want to buy the property or not. However, rates and affordability are still an issue. So, DJ, for the client that you're talking to, and I'm sure you get this, we get it all the time. I'm waiting for rates to come down. I want the market to settle out. What are you telling them right now? Because I don't think this is the end of this here. I would imagine that rates could be north of 7% come the end of the year. So what are you forecasting now, being on the ground, in the field, talking to people about these rate increases that are happening way faster than anybody thought?
Yeah, so a couple angles you could take on this, but for clients that I've already been talking to that have waited for, a change in the market to take action, now is a great time, and I think they're going to have a nice window here where the market isn't fever pitch hot. They can take some time to make a decision, consider the property and the numbers a little bit more, and make a decision that they're confident with. So that's a great thing, and I have been doing a lot of outreach, just circling back on that kind of thing. For right now, if you're just getting into the market and trying to talk to some professionals about this kind of thing, what I would say is that, and this is all a bit of speculation, but it's educated speculation, is that inflation is still an issue. That's obvious. And the Fed is trying to curb it. And interest rates is the primary way for them to do that. So we do expect the rise to continue. At what pace, it's tough to say. I think they're still, kind of playing by ear on this kind of thing.
Sure.
But it's obvious that it's pretty quick. And we'll have an official announcement tomorrow around 2 p.m. for what they're gonna do. But the market's behavioral. It's not really a one-to-one based on what the Fed's
Agreed.
decision is. So, it's already being baked in prior to this announcement. And as soon as the market feels that the Fed is going to raise, the market adjusts. So I'm hoping it won't go any higher too much so in the next few weeks. But as soon as there's any inclination or word of further rising, you're going to see it, and we're all expecting it.
You brought up a really great point that the market reacts before the news actually hits. This happened before, and this is the 3rd interest rate increase this year. So in March, it was 1/4 of a point. In May, it was 1/2 point. Now they're talking about 3/4. And the thing that everyone is feeling right now, no matter what you're doing, real estate or otherwise, is that inflation is real. I mean, we're seeing the highest inflation numbers in over 40 years because, gas prices and state taxes and all these things. People are paying $5-6 for a gallon of gas, and that's the most, to me, that's where people feel it the most, because they're looking at the price they're paying and watching the number just go up instead of, oh, that was high, here you go. It's, no, well, this is a lot more than it used to be, especially if you're driving like an SUV or something like that. So the market does factor these things in. And to give some expectation about what's going to happen with the Fed announcement, there's a company called CME Group, and they have a Fed Watch tool that they use. And right now they are pegging a 0.75% increase, or a 75 basis point increase, at a 55% plus chance. So this will be the highest rate increase that we've seen in a long time, because it used to just be a quarter point here, quarter point there. Then they went to a half. Now they're going to 3/4 because inflation's so out of control. And we've seen that obviously with housing prices. The housing market's appreciated past inflation, that we're seeing 10, 12% increases. So this isn't that surprising. Do you think the market, if there's an announcement tomorrow, or when there's an announcement, do you think the market's going to react even further, or are they kind of meditating the increase here based on all this data that we have and the expectation around a 0.75% increase?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as these headlines started coming out that they might announce the 0.75%, the market shifted even more so. So if you had to ask me point blank, yes or no, I would say no, I don't think the market is going to react further.
Okay.
If I had to make a yes or no decision, that's it. But it's tough to say. It's speculative. And I mean, granted, last month I had my foot in my mouth because, they're announcing this 50 basis point hike, a 0.5% hike, and it was already baked in, and we were operating at that level for a little bit. But I was kind of waiting for the announcement to shift things, and it didn't. So.
Well, and that's happened in the past, though, and that's all you can really look at here, that sometimes the market will react pretty heavily and then come back down a little bit, and there's kind of a spike, and it comes back down. So I don't think that was improper. It's just nobody really knows.
Yeah.
The big unknown. And I think they're just trying, it's a panic. There's a lot of people that are very stressed out about this whole thing. And they have to be very careful also to not create more panic. So I think they really have to just be careful with how they're reacting, because with every action there's a reaction, and that's what we don't want, more negative reaction.
My one consult to clients, especially the new ones who are just getting in, and rates are always a topic of discussion, is a rate is just a number of that goes on a piece of paper, but what you're going to feel every month is your monthly payment. And you need to put that into context for people, saying, this is what your monthly payment is. Are you comfortable with this on a longer term? You're stuck with it for 15, 30 years. So are you okay with this? Can you afford this and live a comfortable life with this? That's what's most important. So, despite what's going to happen with these rising rates, you just need to make sure that you're buying a home that you're going to be comfortable with long term.
I think that's a good point. I think if you can break it down that simplistically, like, this is going to be your monthly payment for 30 years. Okay, it's not going to go up. Unless you have an adjustable, but this is your monthly payment. Unlike if you were renting, that's definitely gonna adjust, and we've seen rent increase tremendously over the past couple
inflation
of years.
affects rent all the time.
Correct.
So keep going.
Yeah. So, know that your mortgage payment is going to be set. It's going to be set. So as you're going through the years, it might be tough in the first couple of years. You might have to cut back a little bit, but you're going to have a home that's also going to be appreciating in its value. So that's what you have to keep your eye on. That you have to remember that it's an asset. You're getting this asset, and you're going to have a fixed monthly payment. Let's keep it simple.
Yeah, it's a great hedge.
And you're getting a rate even at 6%. It's still less than inflation right now. That's what people aren't getting. So, rent has never gone down. I don't remember ever when it's gone down, except during the pandemic when people got to live places for free. Different story. So, we're all kind of seeing the same thing here. I think there's more to come. And really, this is the result of the fact that we're very clearly in a recession right now. I mean, and a recession is defined, and this is really important because I don't think a lot of people get this. A recession is defined by 2 consecutive quarters of economic decline. So with the inflation numbers going up to, I think it was 8.8% is the last I saw, originally 8.5% earlier in the year, and the 14% rollback in the stock market year to date, that's really happening. So how this affects the market, when there's a recession, and we're going to talk about the shifting market playbook for real estate agents and I would say mortgage professionals as well in the third segment. There's going to be a lot of agents out there that say, well, prices usually don't go down during recessions. Everything's going to be fine. And then there's going to be some people yelling the sky is falling. And what I'm concerned about for both of those people is the reality of a recession is this, and I've been through 2008. People's income can go down. If you're a small business owner, your income can go down. We just saw some news we're going to cover next that people are cutting their workforces and there's layoffs happening now. And that means there's less spending in the marketplace. There's going to be less sales. So this is going to have an effect on the market, even if prices continue to go the right direction. And you got to have some empathy towards that. You got to realize, like, not everyone is on the other side of the table where we are, where it's like, oh, hey, guess what? Your price is going to go up. It's okay. Just sign here, buy this house. That's not how people make decisions. And if you don't have that sort of empathy, and then you mentioned something earlier that I really want to hit on, is understanding the market and going through options for people, then these are the folks that are going to go find other representation. They're going to find other people to help them in the marketplace, because if you don't have options for people and you don't show them what's actually going on, then they're not going to want to work with you, and they don't want someone that's unrealistic or pessimistic.
Right.
Yeah.
So you mentioned ARMs. I want to hit on this. I think this is really critical. And DJ, I'd love you to chime in because you're the one that writes these things.
Yeah.
The buyer that now feels priced out of the market. Can we talk about the benefits of adjustable rate mortgages and like what the spread may or may not be on those things, and maybe just kind of explain that a little bit, because there's some buyers. I mean, you have people right now where they were good at like 5%. Now it's 6%, and they may not be able to get the home they want. And we know the prices aren't coming down to adjust for the rates.
Exactly.
Yep.
So these conversations, I think this is really important for us to bring this to the public here, that they understand there's other options out there. Unfortunately, a lot of realtors don't know about this, and a lot of mortgage companies don't talk about it. So that's what we're here to do.
Sure. I can jump in on this. So like Stacey was mentioning, there's 5 and 10-year adjustable rates. There's also 3 and 7. You'll see a scale of interest rates where the shorter the fixed term, the lower the interest rate, and then you're obviously subject to market fluctuation. And there's a lot of different ways to do this, so make sure, when you're talking about this with your loan officer, you really get nitpicky about when the rates can adjust and what those caps are, because it will only adjust by a certain amount per adjustment and for the life of the loan in its entirety. So make sure you understand what those are, what your maximum interest rate could be over the life of the loan, and then what it could be, in the interim as you go. No one knows where we're going to land and the top of the hill is going to be. So, it's something to consider. It's definitely very valuable for those who see their home as a stepping stone home. Or something that they want to do some work to and then sell it after a little while, rent it out for a little while, whatever it may be. So it's a great option when that fixed term is going to be as long as you're going to hold it, or you might be willing to take the risk a little bit longer too. But those are the big aspects of adjustable rates. The spread, it's always changing with the market. So,
well, let's talk about where it is today, just to give some perspective. I think that's going to help people the most.
Yeah. So, and granted, this is changing pretty rapidly at the moment. But so, we're at a fixed rate sitting around 6. The 10-year is sitting in the low 5s. So I think it's about 5.25 at the moment. And
that's a big difference.
It is. It is. I mean, depending on your loan amount, you're looking at somewhere in the range of like $75 to $150 a month, something like that. It really depends on your loan size, but yeah. So that's where that is. The 7 and the 5, I'm not up to date on where that stands at the moment, but prior to this hike, they were in the 4s, like mid to low 4s. So. If you want up-to-date rates, just let me know.
Well, yeah,
you can reach out.
I mean, the market's moving literally as we speak here.
Yeah,
so
yeah, exactly.
I think it's important to hear what the spread is, because a lot of people don't get this. And the advice you gave, and I'll say it again because it's that important, if you know you're only going to be in the home for 5 years, 7 years, or it's like that first-time buy and you're planning on like upsizing in a couple years and doing, like, this is where it makes the most sense. We don't know where rates are going to be in the future. I don't think anyone predicted rates would even get this high this year. Going back to January, no one talked about rates in the 6s.
No.
And it's June 14th. So we got some time. So nobody predicted that, number one. It's a great way to get in there and maybe control your payment And then you can decide what to do later, and there's a lot of options there too. So to me, that's something that everyone should be talking about, because if you're not, you're doing your clients a disservice if they're not aware of this.
Absolutely. You got to bring it forward. And the only other option that I would say is worth mentioning, if in Pennsylvania, we have fantastic first-time homebuyer programs that offer subsidized interest rates. So you might be able to qualify for lower than market rates with that. So
How does that work? Subsidizing.
it's a state money fund that tries to promote first-time buyers to buy a home. So it's a bit of a benefit. You know, there's income limitations. There's credit requirements.
Is there purchase price limitations?
There are purchase price limitations that vary by county. So yeah, I mean, it's not for everybody.
Right.
But
It could be for that segment of population that still wants to get in. Sure.
Exactly.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
So real quickly before we break on this segment, there's one other thing I wanted to share, because I think we explained this pretty substantially here, pretty well. Lawrence Yoon, the chief economist of NAR, he came out on Market Watch and said this article was funny because he said there's 6 things you need to be aware of. I only counted 5, so maybe there was just a typo there. We hit on a bunch of these. So buyers need to rerun numbers as mortgage rates rise. That's something, Stacey, you hit it right at the top of the segment here. I want to say it again because it's that important. Inventory shortages are still persisting. Mm-hmm. So that's the opportunity for sellers right now. If you've been on the fence and especially if you have a place to go. To me, this is the set. Like, if you know where you're moving to and your only goal is to cash out high, I wouldn't be messing around anymore, because I think you're kind of gambling with the market. What do you think about that, Stacey?
I totally agree. Definitely don't risk it anymore. If you've been waiting for the past year or two, I'm still going to wait. No, the waiting is over. Just take advantage of the opportunity now.
I agree.
So we're in agreement there, because we're already seeing less offers, more contingencies. That's the first sign.
Right.
Home prices in general will remain high because of the inventory issue. I mean, to me, that's supply and demand. I don't think that's anything unusual here. So
right. Although you hear different things, people think the housing market is going to crash and the prices are going to tumble. Yep.
Well, so we can all agree that that's not happening. Now, I mean, with inventory being so low, this is Econ 101. Mm-hmm. I took that class, so I know about this.
Nice.
Yeah, a long time ago. So when supply's low, demand's still high, and even at these rates are still historically lower. I mean, you're talking about 11.99%. So prices are going to remain high. This one is absolutely true. Prepare for high prices on suburban homes in particular. I don't think there's any question there that the suburbs have a greater value than ever before because of the pandemic, because of having some outdoor space. And I would also argue because a lot of millennials are aging, and now they're at the age where they don't want to be in the middle of a city block, parking 3 blocks away from their house, lugging their child, groceries, potentially a pet, double stroller, you name it. That's
Pet
happening.
Stroller.
Yeah,
Right.
Pet strollers too.
No judgment.
And lastly, some buyers may want to consider an adjustable rate mortgage. I thought this was really great advice, and I want to hit on it again because it summarized everything we talked about pretty well. Anything he missed there with rising rates, anything that we need to be aware of, or I mean, we covered a lot here in this past 23 minutes.
I will say that I did get a buzz in from my colleague Kevin with the 7 and 5 year ARMs.
Let's give it to the people.
So right now, and shout out Kevin, thank you. They are sitting at 5% for the 7 year and 4 3/4 for the 5 year at the moment. Yeah.
That's great.
So a 5 year is still pretty appealing to a lot of people. And
Yeah.
What was the 7 year? Give that to me again.
5 flat.
Yeah. So these are rates that you couldn't even have gotten yesterday on a 30-year fixed. So, and especially for that first time buyer. I mean, most first time home buyers, even though the average time in home is raised up to 11 years. Most first time home buyers, it's in that 5 to 7 range is what we find.
Right.
So a lot to digest here. A lot of economic data. DJ, this has been super valuable having you on. We're going to keep it going here. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back next and talk about other signs of the recession with major layoffs at 2 real estate companies, what that means for the industry. This is Toole Time, Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM.
Buying a home or already own one? We can help. I am Kevin Hamill from Alliances Insurance Agency. If you haven't reviewed your policies in the last 3 years, now's the time. New home buyers, there are a number of ways that we can help you get to that settlement table. Call us to find out more at 610-816-0043, extension 3, or visit our website, alliancesinsurance.com. Don't forget the S, it's for savings.
Have you considered a career in real estate? Do you want control over your income? Whether you have a license or not, call us today at 610-692-6976 or visit tomtoole.com. Join our team, the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Main Line.
The Tom Toole Sales Group is the #1 RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania with over $165 million in volume for 2021. I'm Tom Toole, and our team has achieved that kind of success by being a great place to work with and to work for. No one knows Greater Philly better than we do. We know real estate, but more importantly, we're real people. We hire the best agents, and we give them all the tools to succeed. Even our brand new agents sell 17 to 24 homes a year because our team delivers the best experience in real estate. Teams deliver a better experience than individuals, and we're a top 1% real estate team in the country. We call it AAA service. We're your advocate, ally, and advisor. Because this isn't a transaction to us. It's a relationship. If you're buying or selling a home, call the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Main Line at 610-692-6976 or visit tomtoole.com. That's tomtoole.com. Sell your home for more, and remember the real estate golden rule. You always get more when you work with Tom Toole.
For the best local mortgage service and great rates on your money, look no further than Mortgage America. We've been operating in the greater Philadelphia area for 40 years with a focus on smooth, easy access to home purchasing. Whether you're a first-time buyer, upsizing or downsizing, or just refinancing, we have programs for you. We also have closing cost assistance programs and access to subsidized interest rates. Pre-approval is free, no costs or commitments. To learn more, visit our website at mymortgageamerica.com or give us a call at 610-439-8000. We always have a person available to take your call with around-the-clock human service. Purchase your home with the personalized, local service you find at Mortgage America.
Mortgage America is an equal housing lender. NMLS 128501.
We are back on Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM. I'm Tom Toole. She's Stacey Mitchell. We've got Nick behind the camera, and we all work with the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Main Line, the #1 RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania since 2018. And we are streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Just check out or Google Tom Toole Sales Group. We've got DJ Sutera in here taking selfies. He's with Mortgage America. DJ, where can people follow you? What's the best way to get in touch?
I'm pretty active on Instagram. That's DJ Sutera, Sutera. And then I've been very active lately on TikTok, and that is DJ Mortgage.
So can I give you some advice?
Please.
Post everything that you post on TikTok onto Instagram as a reel, and you'll be active on both.
Yeah.
This is literally our entire part of our game plan here. So just all platforms all the time. And then if you want to get really aggressive, go YouTube Shorts.
Yeah.
And
I
Facebook
haven't
Reels.
looked into that yet.
You can do it all in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Says
No, it's
you
been fun.
guys, not
TikTok
me.
world is fun.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Catching up on the trends and stuff. Yeah.
Stacey's too busy
I'm
selling
so
houses.
out of it.
No,
Yeah, well,
I
that's
feel it.
fair. I'm doing it to sell more, or to help buy more houses.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, breaking news today. And not the kind of news I like to see. I want to be really clear, but this is breaking news. We had 2 major real estate companies announce literally before the show that they are laying off significant amounts of their workforce. So the first piece of news dropped this morning around 9:30, and that comes from Compass, is cutting their workforce and their full-time employees, not agents, full-time employees by 10%. As the housing and stock markets experience a major shift. And then right after that, this came within the hour, about 45 minutes later, Redfin CEO Glenn Kelman announced on Tuesday that his company would join an ongoing wave of other real estate companies, not our company, to be very clear, but other companies that they are letting go of 8% of its staff because they don't have enough work. And let's remember, most Redfin's salaried employees are sales agents. So a lot to unpack here. What are your initial thoughts here? What does all this mean?
Oh, I was surprised to hear this today. Yeah, so I think that this is definitely going to shake up, a lot of people when they're hearing anytime you hear that companies are laying off, that's just not a positive, anything
Across
positive.
industry. Yeah,
Right. It's like,
yeah.
oh, and then you have follow up with the second major company that's laying off. Real estate is definitely regional, so it's local. And honestly, when I was reading this and it said they didn't have enough work for their agents or support staff.
Now that's Redfin specifically.
Yeah, Redfin specifically. Because I know in our firm that we've, really had very strong months in the past couple of months.
We had our best month ever last month.
Yeah.
And we're pacing ahead of that this month, just to give people some, and it's not that we're great. This is just what's happening locally.
Right, exactly. So when I read this, I'm curious. It makes me curious why and what's going on.
Yeah.
So I definitely need to know more about why they're doing this. They just said they don't have enough work to keep people busy, and especially their agents. But we operate differently. I'm basically self-employed. So I know that if I don't get out and hustle, I'm not going to make any money. So, but if, they're salaried agents, what's the motivation? Where's the...
Yep.
Yeah.
I say that every day.
So it could present a little different of,
Yeah.
a situation.
You're forced to create value when you're commission-based.
Exactly. Yes.
So I have an answer for you.
Okay.
On Redfin, and this is my opinion. What I know is that when you get into a shifting market, you get into turbulent times, uncertainty in the economy. This is what's all over the place right now. And again, we are in, there's very clear data we're in a recession. I don't think there's any question there. And we've seen other companies like this, Better Mortgage, Loan Depot, Mr. Cooper, all these big mortgage companies. They're, they've also laid off a lot of people, so they're not the only ones. We've also seen other companies, like some tech startup companies. Tomo is one of them. That there's lower demand for home loans. We've seen that loan originations are down. With Redfin in particular, what I know is that if I'm entering an economic unstable time, I don't want the agent that is literally paid to open doors. That is their business model. They have, and we're going to get into why that's the case in the next segment here about the shifting market playbook, which we kind of we've been talking about. I would say, I don't even know how long at this point internally. But with this, Redfin, their agents don't get paid when they sell the house. They get paid for showing homes. They literally get paid to open X amount of doors. And, while May demand is down, to me, the first people that go are the ones that are there grabbing the easy money, because it's not as easy as, hey, I need to go get into this home. Let me just call anybody because the market's so hot right now. We're not seeing that. So that, to me, has as much to do with this as anything else. Like, their model is a model based on people that are looking for the best deal out there. And now people need advice more than the best deal, because, the past 6 months before this, let's call it first quarter, right? There was 15, 16 offers on every home that was out there. So when people stop looking for the best deal and start looking for guidance, the first company to go away is the limited service brokerage. I've seen these guys come and go for decades, literally. So this, to me, is just another example of that. And Better is kind of the same thing. They're kind of the same kind of mortgage company. It's like, oh, we'll eat the appraisal difference. We'll do all these things. Then you can't get anybody on the phone and no one knows what they're doing. So the people that aren't trained for this market are going to be in trouble. So that to me is the reason behind Redfin.
That makes a lot of sense. I also think that as far as the clients are concerned, we are going to experience folks getting out of the market who might not have that much motivation to buy. So maybe the buyers are falling off here, and that's why their business is less, because they're not, those buyers who, well, it has to be the perfect house, and since the rates are going up, you know what, we'll just stay in our house right now, our current home. So I believe that those folks are definitely going to be dropping off. So that could be, a good chunk of the, maybe say, 20%, 25% of the leads that could be coming in. Or, the tire kickers, they're definitely going to be the ones that are like, no, the rates are too high. That's it. I'm not going to buy.
Looking for any excuse.
Right. Any excuse. They got their excuse with the interest rates rising. So, and that definitely is going to affect this Redfin model 100%. So I could see that now. It makes more sense.
So then there's the other model, which is Compass, and I find this to be pretty interesting because if you look at their stock price since the IPO, it's been kind of a disaster, to put it mildly. I mean, they IPO'd originally it was around like $18-20, and the stock is now down to, where is it today? $4.24. And it has basically just gone down. I mean, there was a little bit of a spike, and then it went down. It never came back up to its IPO numbers. And what concerns me about this is their whole strategy for growth was literally buying agents. Like they were like, oh, we'll give you stock. Well, that's not worth anything now.
Yeah.
Or we'll give you cash, and we'll put a lien against your home, which is what they did.
Whoa.
This is common knowledge. This is not like that.
I didn't
sorry,
know
I
this.
haven't been following that.
I haven't either.
That's crazy.
That one hit me. I was like, whoa.
So they've been out there, and the agent that attracts, to what concerns me about that person is they're probably the people that need money, right? Or they're looking for something else rather than the ones that want to work. And this isn't the first time they've done this. They went through this before, right in the first quarter of 2020, where they cut off a lot of their staff. I know someone that worked there, and personally, she had to fire 17 people like 2 days before Christmas in their IT department. So what worries me about this is when you see people cutting this much staff, what does that say about the direction the company's going? That's the concern I have for a lot of these folks, because when you see people cutting staff, it's usually a sign that they're losing money or they're not performing where they need to, and the stock market has reflected that. So I think there's going to be a lot of these companies, and not just Compass, but a lot of them that came on the scene, took advantage of the greatest real estate market in history, and now they don't know how to operate in a shifting market.
And if you're at Compass, I'd be somewhat concerned about what's going on.
For sure.
Right. I would definitely be honing my skills and make sure that I'm totally up to speed and providing knowledge, to my clients, because that's what it's going to take. You're definitely going to have skills in what's coming up in this market. You want to bring value to all your clients. You want to be able to answer all their questions that they have, especially in uncertain times. And you want to be that even, voice of reason, not the hair on fire, agent who, oh my gosh, everything's crazy and it's horrible and hurry up and buy a house. You don't want to, you want to ease their fears, because as a first-time home buyer anyway, they're so, on edge because it is such a new experience.
Yeah.
So you have to be prepared, and you have to be the total professional, bring all your knowledge to the table, and help them through the process. So I think that's really key going forward.
Agreed.
So what do you think happens to these two companies? Because the Redfin stock price is also not doing well. Let me just because they get
that was down too.
That's how you get judged with these publicly traded companies. What's the stock price doing? I mean, everyone talks about Zillow, and you know what Rich Barton's going to do? Whatever makes the stock price go up.
Right, exactly. I think that the Redfin was 97, and now it's
it's $8.21, and they peaked at $97. So they've done better, but that was but it's dropped dramatically. I mean, if you look just year to date, the stock price is down. Where it peaked was it was around $40 at the beginning of the year. Now it's down to $8.20. So we're seeing, and this most real estate companies are going through this right now. Let's be clear. What do you think happens to these companies, though? I mean, are they going to get sold? Is someone going to acquire them? I mean, this is typically what I see kind of happening with these things. And look, Compass has major VC funding behind it, and anytime you take on VC money, you know what the end game is? To sell the company to somebody else so they can exit. Right. But they've got literally hundreds of millions of dollars in there. I don't know if they're gonna get it right now. SoftBank also funded WeWork, and we know how that played out. That didn't go well either. So, what do you two think is going to happen with these companies? And then we can break and then talk about what the agents should be doing right now, which Stacey already alluded to.
Well, you kind of hit the nail on the head in my eyes, but I think it's kind of a classic overhire situation. When the market's on the rise, you justify a greater workforce because the profits are there, and you're just trying to keep above water with all of the deal flow. You don't focus as much on quality and effectiveness, and then once that profit starts to decline, you're trying to figure out, okay, well, where can we trim the fat? And I think there could be some M&A, some mergers, acquisitions. I think it'd be really interesting to watch. But that's all I got, really. I think it's gonna create opportunity for that kind of thing.
So I'm just reading here too. Better
Yep.
shed nearly 60% of its staff.
Oh, they're a disaster. I mean, that
Oh my
company is.
gosh.
Yeah.
And you probably have some.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that was the guy who called everyone a bunch of idiots on a
Oh,
Zoom call or
that's right.
something.
I
I
forgot
forget.
about
That's
that.
not the exact term.
Yeah,
But-
it was
right,
bad.
Right. That was really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, refinance business went away, and they were left hanging. So yeah, they were
And
relying
just
on
their,
that.
just their customer experience is not very positive. So
No,
yeah.
no.
So that, that hurts them there too. So people are going to go more local where they can actually, sit down and have a conversation with somebody. And that local relationship building experience, there's so much to be said for that, as opposed to just the online service. I'll just plug my stuff in here and I don't know who is on the other side in another state somewhere.
Right.
So I think
I can't tell you how many people will tell me, "Oh yeah, I'm already pre-approved," and then I'm like, "Okay, well, great. Are you open to a second opinion? Like, let's see what we can do for you." And I'll run the file, run the credit, and there was no credit pull before me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, "Oh, you have a pre-approval letter, do you?"
oh my
Like,
gosh.
because whoever gave you that has no clue about your debts or your credit. So
Wow, that's pretty scary.
yeah.
Well, and that's a prime example of, and I would argue, I mean, any of these companies where you don't have the right training and you don't know
Right.
the process, and this is exactly what we're going to talk about next. So I think it's a great segue. This is the market where the client gets burned big time because it's not going to be as easy, or it's not going to be that fever pitch, and they may go into something and without the right agent vetting this or the right mortgage company vetting this, folks are going to be in a lot of trouble and they're going to lose houses. So I predict some sales here. I think there's going to be I think something's going to happen with, I mean, you can't keep performing at this level with shareholders being okay that your stock has dropped down as low as it has.
Right.
Yeah.
For both
Somebody
of
has
these
to be held
companies.
accountable.
And, what's going to be interesting is with Compass especially, a lot of these contracts are coming up. I mean, the way they're structured and everything happens. So seeing that they're cutting staff, right, and the staff is there to support their people and all these other things, I anticipate that there's going to be something happening here. SoftBank's a player in this, and that's what everyone forgets about. Like, they want their money, right? I mean, it's so when you take other people's money into your company, you've got other obligation than what's best for the people at the company. So that's where I'm going to leave it there. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about the shifting market playbook as instructed by Gary Keller, some stuff we've learned along the way. This is Toole Time, Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM.
You shouldn't have to deal with all the red tape when getting your mortgage from a big or online bank. At Mortgage America, we have access to big bank money, but with the personalized and detailed service of a local bank. We are here in your community and ready to serve with fast settlements, low down payment options, and first-time homebuyer programs. Pre-approval is free, no costs or commitments. For more information, visit our website at mymortgageamerica.com or give us a call at 610-439-8000.
Have you considered a career in real estate? Do you want control over your income? Whether you have a license or not, call us today at 610-692-6976 or visit tomtoole.com. Join our team, the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Main Line.
I'm Tom Toole of the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Main Line. If you're thinking of becoming a real estate agent in the greater Philly area, I have a special offer for you. Our team did $165 million of volume in 2021, making us the #1 RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania and a top 1% team nationally. Our agents love us because we offer them a successful career, a great life, and an unbeatable culture. Agents who've been with us for at least a year average 30-plus sales. Even our brand new agents average 17 to 24 sales a year. We offer proven systems and expert training. We help you set more appointments and sell more houses. Now, here's the offer. If you don't have a real estate license yet, we offer real estate scholarships so you can get one for free. Check it out at realestateScholarshipProgram.com or visit the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Main Line at tomtoole.com. That's tomtoole.com. Get more out of your real estate career, and remember the real estate golden rule. You always get more when you work with Tom Toole.
Buying a home or already own one? We can help. I am Kevin Hamill from Alliances Insurance Agency. If you haven't reviewed your policies in the last 3 years, now's the time. New home buyers, there are a number of ways that we can help you get to that settlement table. Call us to find out more at 610-816-0043, extension 3, or visit our website, alliancesinsurance.com. Don't forget the S, it's for savings.
All right. We are back on Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM. I'm Tom Toole. She's Stacey Mitchell. We've got Nick behind the camera. The three of us work with the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Mainline, the number one RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania since 2018. And we've got DJ Sutera here from Mortgage America. You can follow him on Instagram at
DJ Sutera.
DJ Sutera. It's Sutera. And what I want to talk about, we've kind of leading up to this, the flow. This show is, to me, is an exciting one because there's so much going on, but we're going to tie it together here with, we know what clients should be doing. We kind of know what the landscape is with these bigger companies that are going to be out there. What do agents, and I would argue even mortgage professionals, want to do in a shifting market? So if you haven't read the book Shift by Gary Keller, just like download it on your phone right now. Tell Gary to send me 50 cents as a royalty. Kidding. Classic book, right? I actually saw him present about this at the Harrah's Casino back in 2008 when all this stuff started to happen.
Oh my God.
It was because it was that big of a deal. And he actually got me to go to Chester's, which is a whole other story. So with that, there's a couple things, and Stacey, you hit on this a couple times, because to me there's really three options for agents. And then we're going to talk about how to communicate all this. You mentioned the sky is falling agent.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about that. What's the sky is falling agent?
The one that's like a negative Nelly.
Yeah.
Like you can't bring any negativity to this market. You just can't. So, people are looking to you for advice and for answers, and they need to know the real facts about what's going on in the local market, not what you hear on the news. Not what you hear out in the national news, because it's different. Everything's so local. So if you're bringing any type of negativity or just that kind of energy to your clients, that's not going to help you. It's not going to help them. It's just going to, you're starting off on the wrong foot. So what I just always have to bring to my clients, I just want to give them the best possible experience, because it is stressful.
Yeah.
It's so stressful for anybody buying. If you're buying and selling also, I mean, it can take everything out of you, because life goes on around you as you're going through these big life changes. So you just want to be that calm voice. When you talk to these people, you don't want to be frantic. You just want to be calm and bring real facts to them. So I think it's really, really important that you know what you're talking about. You can provide facts to them. Look at the data, look at the numbers, and you have resources around you that you can refer out, as like we do with Mortgage America. We have great resources around us. We have great inspectors that we utilize, great title company. So we provide one-stop shopping basically for our clients. And I like to think that they're going to come away with a really good experience through the process.
So that's absolutely correct. And that I would actually give that same advice to the second kind of agent that's out there, because there's really going to be three. There's the sky is falling, everything's over, and I'm going to try to induce sales with fear. Like they're trying to get sellers to list their home because, you don't want to wait till prices and blah, 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 and they're going to be running around like a chicken with their head cut off. The second agent, I've seen these people in 2008. I don't know what you guys are talking about. The market's doing great. Prices are going up, and they have these rose-colored glasses on where, prices may be going up, and we're also in a recession right now, and people's income is getting affected. I would group both those people in as the same. It's the third agent that has empathy, emotional intelligence, and understands the market that's going to win. And I think that's the first step for any agent in a shifting market. You've got to be able to talk about what's happening in the economy. Because if you can't, there's going to be some sellers that throw you right out of their house, or some buyers that don't even want to talk to you. Because if you're trying to I'm looking for a clean word to say on the radio here. If you're trying to, use like that sky is falling or rose-colored glasses approach, it's just not going to work. People are too smart. So to me, it's being that knowledge broker, being the local economist, understanding what parts of the market are softer than others. I mean, we talk about this all the time in our office where, the city of Philadelphia, it's a little bit of a different market than the suburban market right now.
Yep.
And then there's part of the suburbs that are a little softer than other parts of the suburbs. And if you don't know this stuff, people aren't going to be ready to work with you. So one is kind of be the knowledge broker. I think we can all agree on that, right?
Yep.
Correct.
So then, and Stace, I'd love to get your comment on this here. It's finding the right people to work with.
Yes.
And a lot of people, they want to say, I need ready, willing, and able buyers.
Mm-hmm.
And I would argue able is number one.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning they are able to transact. They got the cash in the bank. They can get approved.
Mm-hmm.
They have a place to move to if their home sells right away and don't have a new home lined up.
Mm-hmm.
That's an able buyer. Or they don't need to sell their home to buy, and they're going to sell once they find one.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's probably first and foremost right now.
First and foremost, correct.
How many people do you have jammed up that need to sell to buy but don't want to list, and they're just kind of in this frozen paranoia?
Yeah.
Good chunk.
Quite a bit. Yep.
Yeah.
So, you just kind of, they're waiting for that right one to come on the market. So
Yep.
they're kind of stuck. Yep.
And then when the right one does come on the market, typically the best homes sell quickly with competition, even in a shifting market.
Yes.
What happens to them?
They're not able to move quick enough.
Yeah. Figure
Yeah.
out a lease back or something.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So they kind of, it's self-defeating.
Mm-hmm.
They put themselves in these situations. So then we get back to we go to the willing part of it.
Yes. And
You know.
these are the people that are willing to go to a short-term rental and sell their
Right.
house, that
Yep.
are willing to move in with a family member,
Mm-hmm.
that are willing to deal with some unpleasant living situations so they can find the right home.
Yep.
And also know that there's there's always risk involved when you move. I don't care what anyone says. I mean, there's so many things that can go wrong
Mm-hmm.
that are out of your control.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't pick a good lender, that can be a disaster.
Yes.
Big one.
There's, the seller isn't honest on the disclosure. There's liens on the house, like all these things that can come up. I mean, it's kind of wild, and I think people have to be willing to get a little uncomfortable and trust the realtors, and then who are ready to actually jump in and do it. And ready is almost like, okay, we're going to have to do this sooner or later. My wife's pregnant with triplets.
Right.
We're getting divorced, so there's no point in I don't want to live here anymore.
I'm getting a job in the area.
Yeah, job reload. Like
Mhm.
I have no choice. Like, and that's someone that's probably all three.
Mm-hmm.
So I would prioritize able first
Mm-hmm.
because this is the kind of market now that we're shifting where it's easy to run around with people that aren't that qualified if you don't ask the right questions.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think it's so important. I mean, if you weren't doing that already, which I can't believe, but
Well,
I guess
there's tons of
folks
people that do it. Yeah.
If you weren't doing that already, you have to get used to doing that and having those conversations up front. You're going to save yourself. You're going to save the client a whole bunch of aggravation.
Yeah.
You don't want clients out there thinking that they could afford something that they absolutely cannot.
Yep.
You don't want to be running clients around looking at homes that you're never going to be able to transact on.
Mhm.
And you're setting them up too. Like if you're going out and looking at $450,000, newly renovated homes and they can only afford something at $325, that's a big letdown.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
you don't want your clients to experience that. So know where they stand financially.
Or
And
pass that conversation to me. I'm used to being the
yes,
bad guy.
yeah, I'm like, oh, they'll help you out. You know what? That is their expertise.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
then
Well said.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you
Whatever
do that
your
work.
rapport is, I'll be the bad guy.
Right,
That's fine.
exactly. But you need to get to that information because it's so important. And then once you have that information, then they're able to transact. Then you can go out and get serious and
Yes.
start looking.
So we know the profile of the clients you want to work with. And these are going to be the people that transact in a market like this. I've been through this before. This is exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you find them, right? And I would argue that there's two or three things. Whatever's been working for you, don't get away from it. I see so many agents do this. They have a great 6 months, great 12 months, and it's from a particular lead source or a couple particular lead sources, and they say, you know what? I'm going to go chase this other thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they start chasing something, and they stop doing all the stuff that worked, and then they got no business.
Right.
I mean, how many times? You've seen this a
Yeah.
number of times. And
Yeah.
people get this bumblebee syndrome versus Steve Karpinski comes to mind from our team. We were talking about this last week. He's like, yeah, I just started doing more what was working, and he sold 11
look what
homes in
happened.
45 days.
Right.
I mean, in a shifting market, and he had a couple things that were working. He didn't like go all in on one or the other. He did them both. And it was like working his sphere and following up with people, like
Right.
shocker, right? Like these two things. So doubling down on what works and doing more of that. Are you finding yourself doing more of that right now, Stacey, and
Oh,
DJ,
gosh,
same
yeah.
with you?
Yeah.
Tell
but
us more.
That's always what I do. I mean, follow-up is so important.
Well, not those things, but the
Right.
things that the plays that work in your business. Do
Right.
you find yourself kind of going to those more often than you have?
Yes, for sure.
What kind of got you there? What made that? Because I mean, how did you know that it was time to do that? Besides us like talking and working together and monitoring the market.
I don't know if I've ever stopped doing that.
Smart.
Because
That's why
it
you do
was
well.
working. Don't fix it if it's not broke. What is that?
Yeah.
It's
that's
like
not
if it
broke,
ain't
don't
broke,
fix
don't
it,
fix
yeah.
it. There you go.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, you just constantly, if it's working, then that's what you do.
Yeah.
And you don't try to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
So I think agents need to do more of that because there's been so many people that are, and we're going to get played out here in about a minute, so we're going to have to go fast. So many people that are like, I'm going to become a social media star and the business is going to flow to me instead
no.
of making phone
Right.
calls, right?
Right.
Here's the rest of the stuff you want to do, and then give me your thoughts real quick. Talk to more people.
Yes.
Carry a bigger client roster because not everyone's going to be ready to transact like they were.
Yep.
Be ready for rising time on market and showing more homes.
Yes.
Have empathy and emotional intelligence to guide consumers and get real with the facts in the marketplace. Any comments on those?
All extremely true
Yes.
and to be expected.
Get real with the brutal facts of the market.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The market is shifting.
Yep.
And I would say over communicate with your clients on top of that.
Yes.
Because if you're not telling them what's going on, imagine just the past 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You're not telling them what's going on. They're going to feel left out in the cold. They're going to feel like they're not hearing from you.
Yep.
Same thing happened during the pandemic when real estate got shut down. And just having
Right.
those conversations with people really went a long way. So that's the shifting market playbook. We're getting played out here. You want to follow DJ? He's at DJ Sutera on Instagram.
Thank you for having me, guys.
You got it. You can follow Stacey at the #2 Mitchco on Instagram. You can follow me at Tom Toole 3RD on Instagram, at Tom Toole 3rd. Just look up Tom Toole Sales Group. We stream this live every week on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. That's it for Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WW.